We are now. We are live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June 1st, 2021 County Commissioners meeting. Would you all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we have on our agenda is our minutes, approval of the minutes. Gentlemen, have you had the opportunity to read and
Yes.
have?
Move we approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second him.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, May 18th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move our public comment session down just in front of our Public Works today. I believe, did planning?
Where'd you go? Oh,
Here she is, Jane.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
Morning.
morning. What do you have for us this morning, ma'am?
All I have is a document for the resolution amendment that the plat that you signed last time.
Mhm.
I just have the document now.
Okay, so we just need a signature?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's easy enough.
Signature of all three of you?
Thank you, ma'am. Is that all you have for us?
That's all I have.
all right.
Very good.
Thank you,
Wow.
But wait till next time.
You keep planning like this and we'll have a good plan.
Okay, well, with that, I'm going to give our emergency manager just a little bit more time. It's prior to 9:10, and you are next.
Yes, sir. Outstanding. So, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kim, John, Jim. So, we're here to I'm just going to pre-up this opening remarks. We're going to go ahead and show you a little bit of a PowerPoint about the weather conditions in Colorado, and of course, mainly our county, and the issues with drought, climate conditions that we're going to start seeing for this year, maybe next year. So, Peter, is he on?
Nope, he's not on yet.
Okay. Well,
We are just a little bit early, but I wanted to give you more than less time.
nice.
Do we have a Zoom link on that?
There's a Zoom link. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him the Zoom link this morning.
All right. Well, with that, let me move ahead, and we can get his presentation towards the end. So we were talking about declaring a disaster, a drought disaster for our community. Dolores County just did that, I believe, on Friday, and the Mountain Ute tribe did it last week as well, and numerous counties are doing the same. And our county is one of all 63 counties that are already on the USDA site as a disaster county. And I've got all that information that's in a PowerPoint, which I sent to everybody. You guys had a good look at everything and then all the information. So with that, Ken Curtis with Dolores Water Conservancy District. Go ahead. You can come up here, whatever you'd like, Ken. And he can give you kind of a rundown on what's going on up with at the water issues up there, and then I'll have CSU talk a little bit, then I can wrap it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Commissioners,
Good morning, Kim.
good morning. Yeah, it's pretty self-evident. We've had a couple of light winters in a row. We haven't quite compared the 2 years, but these 2 dry years have just knocked the heck out of McPhee. So we started the year with really no active carryover. The senior water rights are taking most of the river, and of course they're only getting 50%. So the project supply, the one that goes north and the one that goes down to the Ute Farm and the one that goes down river, it's going to be the lowest on record for the project. 1.5 inches up north, equivalent numbers downstream and down to the Ute Farm. So no water, no crops, no revenue. It's pretty simple, self-evident. You know, and if you're up there, I'm sure the cattlemen have similar experiences with the lack of the monsoons, the drier conditions, and I'm sure we're going to be talking fire bans in the not distant future. So anyway, tough times. We just like the declaration so we can get what assistance we can, cooperating from mainly reclamation in our case. Thank you.
I have to ask this question because I read in that PowerPoint, the Ute Farms are getting 10% of what their allocation is. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct.
So out of their 109 center pivots, is what I read, they're only going to be able to function with 19 of them?
Yeah, when I talked to them, they were going to farm 900 acres, and the hay is done for the year. And the rest is going to be corn to keep the mill as they vertically integrated running sufficiently to keep their markets full.
Wow.
And I don't have the breakdown on those acreages, but yeah, 10%.
Well, as I was reading through that slide presentation,
Yeah,
it's pretty wild to realize that there's, 109 center pivots, and they're only going to get
mostly
10%
are,
of them.
yeah, idle. And up north, same thing. I mean, it's 1.5 inches instead of 22 inches. And so they're consolidating as best they can, but it's tough. I mean, because there are not as many pivots up north.
So I was looking at the drought map this morning, and this was kind of amazing, watching the Denver news. They just, this last month, they've gotten a little over an inch more precipitation than they typically do, and we are just worse. It's just amazing what the mountain separates.
They figured out a lot of ways to get our water, but this is incredible.
Slope does to that. So, yeah, anyway.
I mean, you wouldn't wish harm on them, so at least the northeast has some water to do something with, but at the same time, the west slope's tough. And I tell you, we're right, it gets worse as you go south.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going to be a tough year. We'll do what we can, but we appreciate your assistance.
Ken, this drought is not your fault.
No, it is not.
Feels like it sometimes, but thank you, John, for reminding me.
Okay, I do see that Peter has jumped on. Jim, would you like to?
See if we can get him to unmute here.
No questions for there. Hey, Peter, are you on?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You sound good. We're going to have to cut you at 8 minutes. If you could run through it in 8 minutes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And you let me know when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can go whenever you need.
Go for it.
All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, just introduce yourself as well, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. My name is Peter Goebel. I work with the Colorado Climate Center at Colorado State University. I am a service climatologist and drought specialist. And it looks like it says the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
He needs,
Can't share your screen.
he needs to share his screen, so you'll have to
Yeah.
give him
You
control.
just got to,
You have to give him administration, don't you?
well, I am there. I just,
Okay.
go ahead and click it because it hasn't popped up. Come on. Where are you at? It's not popping up. Did you ask me, Peter?
So I click on the screen share button on the bottom of the screen, and it just says host disabled participant screen sharing.
No. Try it again. I don't know why it's not letting him share. I'm gonna make you the host so you can share it.
Okay. Okay, that should work. Yep. And now you should be seeing a U.S. drought monitor map. Is that correct?
We got it.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the current U.S. drought monitor depiction of Colorado. So you can see Montezuma County there in the southwest corner is currently labeled as either D3 or D4, depending on your location in the county, meaning extreme or exceptional drought. A little bit of context here. The U.S. Drought Monitor is designed on a percentile ranking basis, and each category responds or corresponds to a certain percentile range of overall conditions. It's made using a blend of different products and expert input, but D3, D4 means 5th percentile or lower, which means that we would expect to see conditions this severe in a stable climate in about 1 in 20 years, although, it's possible to have, say, back-to-back or close together severe droughts, as we have seen just recently. A little bit of an overview of how we got there. We'll start with just a look at precipitation for our water year through April, and I will show May on the next slide, but this is showing percent of normal precipitation for the water year through April. And a water year, for those who may not be familiar, starts October 1st and September 30th. It's kind of like a fiscal year where it's offset from the calendar year, but we like to look at things from the start of October because it sort of more cleanly captures the cycle of snowpack accumulation through the cold season, and then the runoff season, and then the consumptive use or growing season. And we can see Montezuma County here is in the 51 to 70% of normal precipitation through April category. I'll show it also in a couple slides, but the Mesa Verde station we look at a lot for its great period of record is at 59% of normal for the water year to date. Here is what happened in Colorado in May. I apologize, this is doing a little bit of loading as I zoomed in, but this is showing just the amount of precipitation that we got in the month of May. The scale is on the right-hand side here, and you can see, maybe it'll show it better if I zoom back out, you can see how unfair the month of May has been to the west slopes, and that's been part of the story of water year 2021 is a lot of the best moisture has hit the east side of the Continental Divide or leeward side of the Rocky Mountains, as opposed to the west side, which is more typical, at least certainly throughout the cold season. And then if we look down at Montezuma County, depending on where you are within the county, May isn't one of the wettest months. You'd expect an inch to inch and a half, maybe 2 inches over some of the higher terrain. We have had yet another below normal month. Now just looking at some of the plots of how this year compares to normal. Again, I like looking at this Mesa Verde National Park station because it's got a great period of record. Here the green line represents the amount of precipitation we've gotten through this water year. The red line is average, And it's not just this year. So if we look at, say, last water year, 2019 into 2020, or water year 2020, we were at about the same point a year ago. And then, of course, a few years ago, water year 2018, we were at the lowest point on record at this time of year. So it's not just one dry year, but we've had a number of dry years recently. And then this is just zooming out throughout the whole water year. We can see that 2017, 2018, or water year 2018 and water year 2020 were among the top 10 driest on record, with 2018 being among the top 5 driest on record. And in fact, the driest, if you control for some of these years that are missing data, including 2021, which is just missing data because we haven't reached the end of the water year. So it'll be interesting to see how this finishes out. If we look at the climatology of the Montezuma County area, there's not much hope for immediate relief. June tends to be the driest month on record. These green bars are showing by month how much precipitation is normal, and you can see that June is the lowest on record. So even in a good June, you wouldn't expect to make up much of this deficit. If we look at how snowpack did for the water year, I'm sorry, my dog is barking a little bit in the background. If we look at how snowpack did for water year 2021, this is where things peaked across the state of Colorado as a percentile. So any of these reds and oranges are areas where snowpack was below average. If we kind of zoom in on the San Juans, you can see that the eastern side of the San Juans did a lot better, but what feeds into the Dolores River and ultimately McPhee, like up near Lizard Head, El Dente, definitely on the lower side of average, anywhere from the 8th percentile to the 41st percentile. And furthermore, it's not just about these percentile rankings, what feeds into the lake streams and reservoirs. This is a soil moisture percentile map. We started the water year with very low soil moisture. We still have low soil moisture, but particularly over the high terrain, when the snowpack melts, it'll often feed the lakes, streams, and reservoirs first before it really seeps, it'll often feed the soils first before it goes into the lake, streams, and reservoirs. Had that backwards for just a second. If we look at how stream flows are going so far this water year, we see that current stream flows are much below normal across much of southwest Colorado, and this has been the case for some time. If we look at, say, cumulative stream flow on the Animus, we see that it was well below normal base flows throughout much of the winter, and then things are picking back up, but still below normal peak runoff. Sorry, that's going through things rather quickly, but I guess just to sum up, we've had a number of dry summers in particular in a row. We had one good snow season over the last 4 years, but it's been dry other than that. That left our soils very dry to start this water year, and now that we're seeing the snowpack, which was lower than normal, melt, it's disproportionately lower in the streams and reservoirs because more of that snowpack has to go into these soils. And just the last thing I'll show here is McPhee Reservoir in Montezuma County is at record low levels for this time of year. This graphic is showing, the black line is showing McPhee Reservoir levels throughout 2020 and the start of 2021, and the shaded areas are showing different percentile ranges. The green is normal storage. The brown is the bottom 10 percentile of the historical ranking, and you can see we're even below that. So I think that's a good place to leave it. Again, sorry to blow through so much information so quickly. It's a lot to digest, but if there's any questions, comments, I'd be happy to take those at this point.
I don't think we have any right now. Peter, thank you. I do appreciate the presentation.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Peter. Sorry to make you rush through that, but it was good. Thanks.
Yep, I'll be on the line too, just to hear what's going on in the county, and if anything comes up over the course of the meeting, you can ask me.
Okay, thank you, sir, taking the time out. Greg, you want to kind of give a rundown on USDA, farm, all the stuff? And
Awesome. Good morning, Jim, and good morning, Kim. Yeah, thanks for having me. And just as the two gentlemen have talked about before, we're kind of in a dire situation, and it looks bad. And so where CSU Extension sort of comes in is on that education and resilient end. So I want to definitely highlight, Vicki did some great videos earlier this year on sort of our drought advisors and what resources we do have, particularly for farmers and ranchers in these situations. And then I reached out last week to Casey Rydell that used to have my position. She's now with Farm Service Agency, and she was actually up north. So we'll connect this week where that looks at with funds from the federal government down to the state government that farmers and ranchers can apply for. Now, some who did not get insurance last year, it's just a process that it works, but doing what you're doing today just gets us more prepared and aligned for when different phases of the declaration or disaster, if it comes to it, what available funds will be available statewide, local-wise, federal-wise onto that end. I can't stress it enough. It's going to be a tough year, but being a part of a drought advisors and a drought task force, it's never too early to start planning. And so the resources that CSU Extension has and others throughout the state of getting plans down for farms and ranches and being able to be there sort of as a coach or to carry people along. And that comes from education to homeowners as well, too. We all got to tighten our belt a bit during these times and just be prepared for it, for maybe a tough year next year as well, too. But if we can be as prepared as possible, that's what I think Jim does a lot of, which is great, is keeping our county emergency prepared, and we're in it how we can come together as a community and be resilient for it. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
moving right along.
Doing great.
Yeah, okay. So, talking to, I think Brandon was going to be here. That's fine. I was talking to Gary Kennedy out on Mancos Water District, and he's pretty much at 39%, 3930 acre feet out there, and they're running 44 in, 44 out. They're just basically keeping the lake fresh. There's no allotments that went out at all. He believes we have enough water for potable this year and next year, but as far as irrigation water, he's not real happy about any of that, and of course we're not getting any now. So that was kind of his update. I sent you an email on the reasons why we're activating this, and so you had a copy of all of that. There is no downside that I'm aware of. Tom McNamara, our Division Homeland Security Emergency Management Field Rep, is here if you had any questions about for the state at all. I believe it's going to assist us in getting Ken all of the stuff that he needs from the Bureau of Rec, and it's also going to help us to just move ahead with the process with the feds. The money is not going to be just coming from the feds, it's already there. To be able to do this, it will enhance our abilities to go forward with USDA. So it's kind of like coronavirus. When you declare that disaster, you work with CDPHE and you work with Health Department. Well, now if we declare this, we work with the USDA. And hopefully we can get some help and some relief to our community. So all this stuff can kick in right after that. Let's see. Any questions?
Actually, I have a question. I
Yes,
saw
sir.
that Dolores County did it last week also. We missed our meeting last week, so The Ute tribe did it. All of the way through the northern, western slope of Colorado, Montrose County, Mesa County, Rio Blanco County. Have any of those declared it yet also, or do you know?
That I'm aware of. Actually, because of things like Uncompahgre has Blue Mesa, that water conservancy has Blue Mesa, even though it's low. Their supplies are not as dire as ours. Likewise, the Grand Valley outfits are looking at a tough year, but not that tough this year, just due to the volumes involved. We're contained. We don't have access beyond the Dolores River that we all share. So I've talked to them, and I have not heard of emergencies. It's going to be tough, but they're not as
They're not where
dire
we're
as
at
we are.
right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So with that, any further questions? I'd like to present the order declaring a disaster in and for Montezuma County, Colorado. And I have a copy, 2 copies. Nice.
We'll go ahead and display it, so we don't have to read the whole thing.
Okay.
Slowly scroll through it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
And I think that, yeah, we only left the chair's signature line on there, but it can't be as long as we made it unless you all 3 approve, or 2 of you approve of it. So you all should vote for it, and if 2 of you agree, then we'll just have the chair sign it.
I pretty much think that we probably all agree, so
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to move it
Yeah.
forward, then we
Move
can.
forward, Joe.
I move that we put an order in place declaring a disaster in and for Montezuma County.
Second.
Everybody's seen it there. I'm going to go ahead. It's been moved and seconded to accept an order of declaration for a disaster in and for Montezuma County. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do you need both copies signed?
Thanks, Commissioners.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Gentlemen, thank
What you
you.
guys have to do to make it
Keep,
rain, but let's get on
Keep
it.
praying for
Pray
rain.
for rain.
Right, right.
Just your signature, right?
Yeah.
Peter, are you
Thank
still on?
guys.
He's muted.
Just want to thank him. Thanks, Peter. We're done. Appreciate it. I owe you.
And Mr. Spratland, if you could just.
Yep, thanks.
Just have a tickler around October to see if we want to declare another one, because this thing expires in October.
Correct. I'll have a tickler ready to go.
Let's see if we can
Perfect.
tempt it to
Get
rain
some-
with this.
Get some rain.
Yeah, let's get all the rain and we won't have to extend it, maybe not.
Yep, thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
We have 2 minutes, and I don't see Attorney Lovett.
If I might, I'll get quick on the water problems we're having. Well, I'm Butch Smith, by the way, and everybody knows me by now, I think. My question is, since we are declaring a disaster on our water thing, have we considered when we're going to start putting restrictions on like watering lawns or things like that? And is that in consideration? Are we considering that already?
I can't answer for, well,
We
I can
can't
only
answer
answer
for the
for the.
municipalities.
For the county. I'm talking about the
For the
county, not the
county.
city. I know
And
the
I
city
think
has their own.
Everybody probably mostly uses irrigation water for that, and I
Right.
think that doing this helps people to recognize that, try to use your irrigation water as
As wisely as possible.
wisely as
of course.
possible. We do not control that water, therefore we cannot make any kind of recommendations. That would have to come from the water companies.
Right.
That does not come from the Montezuma County Commissioners.
Okay.
However, since we're speaking of it and our road superintendent's not in here, I drove down several county roads last week and people are watering the snot out of the roads. So
I agree.
people out there on YouTube,
Yeah.
please, if
Yeah.
you're watering the roads, get the water off the roads and get it on your crops. We don't want it on the roads. We need it where it needs to be.
Yeah,
So, to
I've
answer
seen
your
it
question,
myself.
we cannot restrict where they put their water other than the roads.
Mm-hmm.
The water companies have to watch their water and get to those people. And the municipalities, I think, you were at
Cortez.
Cortez on Tuesday?
They went to some voluntary stuff, and also, what'd they say? It's their usual procedure, which is no watering from 9 in the morning till 6 at night,
Right.
and they'll fine you.
Mm-hmm.
And Mangus went on some restrictions
Did they?
as well. yes.
And I know that the other quiver in there, you know, they've got a couple arrows left, and one of them is alternating days, you know, your address is even or odd, water even or odd days. They're asking maybe even a step further, just water twice a week. Don't
Right.
water every day.
Right. Okay, yeah, I was curious about that. I know the irrigation people have there, but a lot of people are watering out of their faucets. And
Yeah.
I was wondering if that would be considered.
That would be up
Or, yeah,
to
that's-
That was the municipality.
Montezuma
Okay.
Water
Montezuma
Company.
Water,
Okay.
yeah, Summit
I
Water.
wasn't sure if we had any control over that, or if we were considering anything. So, okay, well, that was my question, so, thank you.
Thank you.
And it is an offense to water the roads, not an offense that
I'm
is
not
ever
saying-
enforced, but you can call the sheriff and have the sheriff go talk to somebody about, hey, this is an offense that you could be charged with, rather than taking somebody to court over it, which wouldn't be anybody's choice.
Right, and that isn't our choice. I think our ask is that keep the water off of the roads and make sure that it's going where it's
Yeah.
needed. So
Most
at this
effective use of
time,
water.
it's 9:32. Go ahead.
Real quick, Commissioners, just so you know, the agenda item, unfinished business, the Home for County Intervention Program, they won't be showing up to do that. We're having a study session on the 14th.
Okay.
So you can just get that off your agenda.
Thank you.
Do you think we put it on for the 21st, Jim? Or
For
whenever
the
our next-
15th.
I don't know when our next, okay.
Unless you, it would be up to the Commissioners. We're going to have a study session Monday, the
I think it
14th.
was the same day that we have our workshop, which was Monday 14th.
The 14th, and do we want it on the agenda for the 15th then?
We can put it on the agenda for the 15th, whether we actually make a decision or not, it can be postponed.
Okay. Yeah, that'd probably be good. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. At this time has been set aside for a public hearing for the Mesa Sky Estate subdivision. Kim, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Stevenson,
Here.
Administrator Powers is absent, Attorney Baxter,
Here,
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for a review and determination regarding a local improvement district for the Mesa Sky Estate subdivision, submitted by Keenan Lovett, agent. The hearing will be held Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, at 9:30 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. You may also contact the chairman of the board at 970-749-3841 with questions. Dated this 18th day of May, 2021, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado.
and so it doesn't appear that the message got out, or I don't know what, it doesn't look like there's anybody here for it. So my suggestion would be, so that we don't republish it, is to continue this. If there's anybody here that's only available today to give comment, maybe the commissioners can allow that. But if we announce the date and time we're continuing it to, we won't have to republish it, and then we can just notify Mr. McCabe's law firm.
Okay. Well, then I think we'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and open this public meeting up for anybody that wants to speak for or against Mesa Sky Estates subdivision. And seeing none, then I will close this public hearing, and I think that is all we have to do is move it to extend it, and I would say the 15th. Is that look okay to you, gentlemen?
And we have to announce a date and time.
So, what,
Yeah, we're not in
9:30
session
again?
next week, so move it to the 15th.
Yeah,
I so move.
9:30.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay,
At 9:30.
so then it's been moved and seconded to continue this public hearing to the 15th of June at 9:30 a.m. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I will reach out to Mr. Lovett. I don't know where the lines got crossed. If I know Shak was, I think, a little bit late on getting the notification out, but.
It's been out for 2 weeks, though,
It,
so.
it has been.
Right.
Okay. All right, well then I will close this public hearing. With that, now we're going to go to public comment session, which I moved down from the top of the agenda to allow more time for Mr. Spratlin. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. People speaking during the public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield your time. With that, the public comment session is open. Okay. But we got you documented. Thank you, guys. With that, we're going to move right on.
So the only
And-
one here right now is Mel.
So,
Rob is on his way. He'll be here in about 5 more minutes.
Mel, we're going to move you up front. And we're going to, because a lot of times you're in the last guy and you get to sit here and listen to the whole thing. You get to get out early.
Thank you, sir.
We did not get a grant for the shed.
Yeah.
These are the reasons for this, that's why. Some of them don't make any sense to me.
Mel, did our grant writer help you with this, or was that pre?
Actually, it was Chris in the city who wrote our grant for the comment stream. So, and that was right at the same time we hired.
Right.
Right. I remember approving that we asked you to go ahead and get moving forward with Chris Burkett.
Maybe these reasons, I'm not reading them, but maybe they'll help our grant writer in the future
I think I got a copy.
to get it. Did you send me an email too, or not?
No.
Okay. It's all right. I'll read it. Just not looking at it right now. Or maybe we should put it up on the screen.
You can.
So on number 3, I actually have a question there for the tires, using them for daily cover. And then creating the markets. What do they actually mean by that, to create markets for that?
The only way we can create a market for third parties is to remove all the construction.
It just,
So, yeah, if it's 6 inches or smaller chunk, it's all the same.
which is what we use for daily cover.
How are you gonna develop a market for CUV waste? Why would anybody want that for anything? You can't. It's not useful for anything.
Right. Well, I guess we work on it and
Try again next
try again next year.
Is this only open once a year?
They vary cycles, and each cycle a little bit different depending on what their projects, what they're gearing towards that year. Every time a little bit different.
You see, who reviews? I mean, is it a panel or
They
is it?
have a panel up there.
Okay.
that goes through it.
Is it a different panel every time or?
I can't answer.
Okay.
That's something CDP. Anyway, I have a shredder on site, 10 grand a week.
I don't know. I saw your photos. Can you pull those up, Jim?
Which one? The photos?
The photos of the, what you're doing, or whatever Mel sent in, those are pretty impressive.
Where's that lease? I should look at it. Are they charging you while it's broken down?
No,
Okay,
no, it's
good.
by them. It's now for a 40-hour week.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Got
So,
it.
yeah, so this machine, as you can tell by those pictures, you're making a whole lot better material for our compost. But it's gonna take at least another week. We've been at it a week. We re-shredded everything that we did previously because it was too big. That took about 3 days. We moved into the limb pile, and this is what we're getting out of the limb pile now. And we've got about another week of that. So, to
Do
get
you-
it all shredded, as soon as they get the machine running.
Do you have enough limbs?
I'm gonna have enough limbs to make all the compost that I
That-
have, nitrogen for.
Okay.
Plus, we'll probably have some to sell. People already want to buy it, but I won't sell it until I get all my compost really filled. That's for the priority, like, I need to use as much as I can to get rid of all the biosolids. Let's see.
So do you use the shredder for any other purpose
Well,
down there besides compost and tires?
And we were, Commissioner Tell wanted us to buy one to go ahead and shred C&D and save landfill space for that. And that was part of the purpose of this grant, that machine right there is the smaller one. That's a 3400, and it's a little slow on tires. If we're gonna do tires and C&D, we probably want 6,000. That's about $800,000 machine. And that's a lot of money for landfill.
Well, I was just reading in your deal here, it says that it seems to be more for a landfill disposal operation than a recycling. Well, pretty much all we're doing is recycling with it. We're not-
Turn on your mic, Mel. Turn on your mic, please.
We're recycling the tires for daily cover.
Right.
C&D, it just minimizes it. We use that for daily cover instead of dirt. And the problem is, if we don't start using some of this material, we're gonna run out of dirt as this landfill nears closure to cover it with, and they're gonna be hauling in dirt to do that with. And that's gonna be expensive if we don't start planning
Well, I don't know
ahead
how
for
they
it.
can make a comment like that when we're using it for recyclables. We're not using it for
Well, they're,
landfill disposal
they're not
operations.
considering it recycle. They're considering it daily cover, which is still in the landfill.
Right.
That's
But it's
how I
still
read that comment.
recycling a product.
It's still putting it to beneficial
Yes.
use.
Right.
Is what it's doing.
So that we don't have to use the
Dirt
fill
and-
material, the dirt that's on
Correct.
site. So, yeah, it's just how you
Frustrating.
want to look at it.
So we had our annual state inspection that got canceled last year because of COVID. Our Joe Petrick from the state, CDPHE, was down. He did our previous inspection. We also had our new permitter, Heather Barbera. I think you guys have talked to her on the phone. Both came to landfill, and no write-ups again. So this is
Good.
third time in landfill's history that we've had no write-ups. Selling compost. We got our analyticals back on Monday, last Monday, and we've already gotten rid of half of it. We've only got a few more people that have spoke for it that should be coming down here in the next few days. As soon as I get that off the top, we're gonna be making compost rows, but the loader's tied up with a shredder. So,
How many tons did you actually produce last year? Or yards? However
Well,
you keep track of it?
because of the big chips, we were kind of shortage on the product. So I got about 250 cubic yards this year. We've already sold 117 and a half cubic yards. in 5 days. And we got about 120, 130 left. And then, you know, next year with this better material, we get our rows built, we'll probably double that
Good.
at a minimum. So, and the analyticals I took this year came out a little bit cheaper. So we saved a little bit of money there, about $3,000 on that. Compost roller, fluff layer's almost done. Tractor went down, put us down a few days. Jacob from Weaver will be here, I think it's the 17th, to CQA us pushing the dirt up the liner for the state so they can finish that. We'll have Four Corners Surveying come out and verify it. We got the proper amount of soil on that. And then cell 4 will be completely done and will be in full operation in cell 4. We can put everybody in there once that happens.
Good.
And when that happens, we'll be closing down cell 3 temporarily for nothing but compost. Cells 1, 2A, 2B, and cell 3. So I got as much room as I can to get as many rows as I can get built before they shut the water off. If they shut the water off in the canal, I can't make compost. And we do have an issue coming up. We're gonna try a flush. Talked with Ben Davis from Stotz. The 9530 has got some injectors in it. They got over 5,000 hours on them. They're starting to stick. They have a flush that can go through there and it'll help. But he gave me a tentative bid of replacing the injectors at $10,605. So that may be a bill coming up. Shut our tractor down for a few days.
And that's on which one?
The John Deere 9530, our big green tractor with a scraper that we move all of our dirt with. So we're running it, but it's starting to have some injector issues.
It's not running very well.
It runs real good under full load. But when you idle it down to 1,500 and idle, it's missing. And he says those injectors with that many hours starting to stick. And it's because of the fuel, creating a varnish, and it's just maybe time to replace them. They have been covering us up at the landfill. So if you look at April's residential income on our budget, it was 116,000. In May, it is 142,000. And most of that is private citizens coming in. It's just been unreal. Saturday, she did almost $2,700, and we should do about 800. It's just lines of cars coming in and out. I think it's gonna be worse than it was last year when COVID hit.
That's not a bad problem to have.
No.
Well,
Cleaning
no,
up,
it's
fixing up.
not, if you, if you can keep up with all of it.
Right.
But, that's about where we're at. Got any questions?
Nope.
Keep making compost,
You're
man.
doing a good job down there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
As
Well,
long as we
the
have
crew.
water. As long as we have water, we can make.
If the water will hold out, so I can get them rows built, I need water for a month to get all them rows done. And I hope to have the rows done by middle of June, built, and start temping. But I gotta have 20 days. If I can get the water on them initially, to where they're good and wet, and get them going, it doesn't take that much water to maintain them.
Right.
But I still gotta have it, so. And if they shut the water off and I'm not done temping and they don't make temp, then it gets shut down and I lose compost for next year and start all over again. That's just where we're at.
All right.
Yahoo.
Anything else? Nope.
Don't think so.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Mel. Appreciate it.
You bet, thank you guys.
Bonnie, noxious weed.
Did you know I was gonna stand up? Oh, no. Like we're supposed to just work. Oh, sorry. Thanks. Okay. Hey, guys.
Howdy.
Good
Did you have a
morning.
good weekend?
Yeah.
It's hot?
Not where I was at.
No?
It was nice.
Oh,
I was in Fry Canyon and I fried.
Hence the term.
Yes.
Bonnie, I don't think we've asked for rights of entry with our new commissioners, have we? So maybe you can, when you go through these, you can explain what those are.
Okay, once I get to that point. Okay. So just a little update. Back. Forward. Up, down. Okay. So we've sprayed Ormiston Pit, McElmo Pit, Mancus Pit, the Dolores Yard, the McElmo Slide area. We're working on the Hay Camp Pit right now. We've sprayed leafy spurge on 7 different properties. We found leafy spurge on 3 new properties this year. Leafy spurge is on the state B list, but we put it on our A list because we don't have too many populations of it, and it spreads pretty quick and lowers property values. So the county has been spraying it on private properties since before I got here, just so we can really try to eradicate it. And it's very challenging to kill, but I think we're finally getting ahead of it. But there are new populations popping up, and I don't know if they've just been there or if they came in on hay or irrigation water, but luckily the landowners are recognizing it and calling us, and we're taking care of it early. We've monitored the Mediterranean sage populations. This is on the state A list. We've been managing it for before I've been here. It was on probably like 5 different properties, but right now we're only finding it on 2 or 3. We removed only about 4 rosettes this spring, so hopefully it'll be eradicated pretty soon. We've been pretty diligent at monitoring it and revisiting these sites to remove them. We've treated 2 areas in partnership with Corteva, which is a herbicide chemical company. We're doing an experiment with post-emergent herbicides and post-emergent plus rejuva herbicides. So we'll take different sections of the property. We'll spray one section with just a post-emergent herbicide, which is going to kill the vegetation that's already there. On another plot, we're going to use that same post-emergent herbicide plus a pre-emergent herbicide to see the effect over 2 years, if it's really giving us a good control of the seeds. And then we'll do a control plot where we don't do anything. So we're just kind of experimenting with this Rejuva. It's the same pre-emergent as Esplanade, which we've been using a lot on the roadsides, but now we're starting to use a lot in the field because it's actually giving us pretty good results. But these are experiments that we're doing with different species that Corteva hasn't experimented on before. So I've sprayed 86 acres of bare ground along the county road edges so far this year. Dawn has sprayed about 180 acres of county right-of-way, prioritizing areas with hoary crests. The Phreatophyte crew has removed about 3,500 Russian olives and 6,500 salt cedars, saving 83.4 acre-feet of water. Next. We've given out about 35 backpack loaners. We've done 26 property visits so far. We've mapped noxious weeds on 299 properties. 73 of those properties we've not mapped before, so they're probably new infestations. Or just infestations we haven't seen in the past, but more than likely they're new. The remaining properties out of the 299 have been mapped in previous years. We've notified some by calling, some by emailing, some by letters, some certified letters, and some we're not notifying because we have records of them trying to manage it. Okay, so this U.S. Forest Service agreement, we've had agreements in the past to treat Forest Service roadsides. This agreement is to treat some spotted and diffuse knapweed populations. We've been monitoring these populations for many years, so it just kind of makes sense that we just go ahead and treat them while we're out monitoring and mapping, and it made sense to the Forest Service too. So here's an agreement that I attached. I don't know if you printed it out, Jim, but I do need a signature from one of the commissioners to authenticate this. So we can go ahead and proceed with this $10,000 agreement so we can spray some of these diffuse and spotted knapweed infestations.
How far out does that go, Bonnie? I mean,
some of it,
Hay Camp up 526.
House Creek, some of it is at the McPhee Marina, some of it is down Hay Camp. It's pretty much those 3 areas. And we've done roads in the past, but they're pretty much contracting the roads out to local applicators. But these are on our A-list, our local A-list, so we're really trying to make sure that we're thoroughly treating them. That's why we're just kind of taking over in doing this treatment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but, so like at Hay Camp, how far do you actually go on the Forest Service road? How,
Pretty far. I'd have to show you on a map. It's probably 5 miles into the Forest Service, I think.
which is just off of the main road?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So just like going down to McPhee at House Creek, you just stay on the main road and,
Exactly. That's where most of the populations are coming from. I think the seeds are coming off of the vehicles or animals or something, and that's where they're getting started. So we're trying to stop them before they get more into the forest. But we haven't found anything super deep. It's just right off the main roads
okay,
is where we're seeing it.
all right. So if you want to move that forward, maybe we'll just vote on it.
I move that we sign this participation agreement between Montezuma County and the USDA Forest Service for the San Juan National Forest Dolores Rangers District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the participating agreement between Montezuma County and the USDA Forest Service, San Juan National Forest Dolores Ranger District. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and so on to the right of entry requests. When did we start this? I think in 2015 or 2016. So we have our notification process. When we map noxious weeds off private properties, we notify them about which weed we found, information on how to manage that weed, and we offer our services to help them come up with a management plan. We also include our cost share information, a list of local applicators, our backpack loaner program, all that stuff. So if we remap these populations for several years and we're not able to correspond with the properties, if they don't call us, if we don't see active management plan, if we just keep seeing the weeds getting worse and worse, at that point we'll send a certified letter to the property, and we will we'll say that we need a management plan within 10 days of signing for that letter. If they do not call us, if they don't send in a management plan, at that point, we will come to you for a right of entry request, and this means that you are giving us permission to access a property, to hire a contractor to treat the populations of weeds. At that point, we will send them a bill. If they don't pay the bill within that year, I will request a lien on the property so we can put the price of that contractor bill as a lien, and then they'll have to pay that when they get their taxes. Does that make sense? Did I explain that decently? And so it only gets to this point if we've been notifying them for many years and the weeds are not being addressed, because this is affecting neighboring properties. It's damaging their land, so it's really important that we get on top of this. So the first one is on to be determined County Road 20. It's Russian Knapweed. We've notified them for 3 years now. Nothing's getting done. It's only getting worse. And here's a picture. It's kind of hard to see. All that dead stuff is knapweed. I took it a while back. So I'm sure right now you'll see it all coming up. You can see the babies coming up. The next one, oops, is right below that other one that I just showed you guys. It's 12130 Road 20, Russian Knapweed, 3 years of being notified. Here's a picture. They've been building on it, so half of the property has been disturbed and half of the property has not. But the entire property has been covered with knapweed for a long time now, and nothing's improving. Okay, next. This is on 24028 Road X. It's a significant hoary crest population right next to an irrigation ditch. This is the 4th year being notified. Population is just getting worse, not better. Just a picture of it. The last one is 13850 County Road 29. Diffuse snapweed, we found an extensive amount of diffuse snapweed in this area, so we're really trying to eradicate it. This property has been notified 3 years. Nothing has been done to what we can see off the county road. I don't have pictures of it because you can't really see it this spring, but it's there, and we're trying to get a control of it. The neighboring properties are actively managing the diffuse snapweed. So when we do get right of entry requests approved from you guys, we do send the paperwork to the properties and with a contractor date. And typically 60% of those properties at that point, they will contact us and get a management plan, just to let you guys know. So just because we do a right of entry, that doesn't mean that it's actually gonna go to enforcement. Majority of the time, they just, at this point, they will go ahead and take care of it.
I think that's important information. I wanted to add that
Yeah.
if Ms. Levine didn't. And I don't know if some of these people are your friends or family members. Maybe you will hear from some of them. And if you do, my advice would be refer them to Ms. Levine, because if they take care of it, it's not a problem.
And we're pretty easy to deal with. I mean, a lot of times we just do verbal agreements. We just want to make sure that they understand what they're up against and make sure that they will be working on it. And it's not meaning that they're going to have it eradicated in 1 year, just working on it, one section at a time is all we're asking. So those are the 4 right of entry requests I have. If you guys have questions, let me know.
I'd like you to go look at the backside of the combined courts building.
Okay.
I think we just done 3 there, didn't we?
Court.
Can we display those rights of
Yeah,
entry?
Mike Chenard said that he treated the courthouse, but I haven't been. Is it on the hospital land or on the county courthouse
It's
property?
between the sheriff's office and the courthouse.
Okay.
You can see it right from the little road that cuts back in there, a little asphalt.
Gotcha, yeah, and we're talking about either xeriscaping or doing a multiple different landscaping approach on that property. I was gonna put some good pre-emergent down on it, but we haven't really concreted our plans yet, unless you guys have, because we're talking about doing a garden, so I can't put different, I have to know what the future
This would
plans
be
are.
a pre-adiphyte removal.
Oh, phreatophyte removal.
Yeah,
At the courthouse?
yeah, on the backside.
Backside of
It's
the
a little
sheriff's
one.
office?
No, the backside of the courthouse.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Did you plan it?
Did I plan it? No. All right, check it
When was the
out.
last time these letters, the certified letters, went out to these folks?
Um,
Bonnie does have record of all
I
of
do.
that. It might not be at her fingertips right now.
So
but-
usually I give it about 30 days before I request a right of entry, even though the paperwork says 10 days. So I give them longer than the paperwork.
Basically, the
implies.
conversation we've had in the past is to try to reach out to these people first of all, try to make a phone call, if you have a phone number, and try to do everything we can before we even send the first letter. And that's kind of what was directed to Bonnie in the years past, when I first started in 2019. And then she softened the language in the letter, because when we read it, we felt that it was very
Stiff.
Abrasive or
it was
aggressive
yeah,
or
it was,
something.
we felt that it was more abrasive than what it needed to be, so we kind of softened the language, so that's what goes out now. And if you have a copy of those, you might want to
Yeah.
send it to them via email.
Okay.
So that they actually have the opportunity to read them just like we did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to read it before I make any decisions about.
These are a big deal.
These-
Obviously,
They are.
people
Yeah,
get
'cause
upset.
this is a private property issue here, so.
Yes.
Well, here's the issue with the private properties. If you have weeds that are affecting your neighbor, you can't
Right.
allow that neighbor to hurt your property by him not taking care of his. So I understand that, and I agree with you, but at some point in time, we still have to, if they're not managing their weeds and it's been 3 years, they're basically just saying, hey, we're not gonna do it.
And it is state law, Colorado Noxious Weed Act, that requires you to manage these specific weeds. It's not just any obnoxious weeds, these are all designated,
These are all
non-native and harmful.
On the list
Yes.
of the noxious weed. It's not just,
It's not just a mustard that's annoying to look at, you know.
We've displayed these rights of entry if anybody wants more time to look at them, feel free to ask. But we've shown them to the public on the screens.
I move we move forward with the right of entries to be issued on with the Montezuma County weed program of the 4 displayed properties.
I would like more time to read the information about them and stuff. Since I don't know nothing about them, so.
How much more time do you need, Commissioner?
I'll just tell you could get me the information, the paperwork that explains them and stuff like that.
So this
Okay.
is, like I said, this is basically what we have done, at least for the past 2 years since I've been here, and obviously longer than that, since 2016, I think you stated.
And just one thing to add, the hoary crests are such a short window to manage it, and we missed that window a lot in previous years just because it takes a lot of time to get to this point. So depending on how long you delay, it might delay it till next year again.
So with that, I'll second it. So it has been moved and seconded, or is there any other discussion? I'm sorry.
No,
Joe?
No, I just.
And we'll get that information to you, but there is a short window on a lot of these properties, so.
And Commissioner Stevenson, you don't have to vote for this, obviously. You can abstain, you can vote nay, or you can support it.
Been moved and seconded to move forward with the resolution granting Montezuma County Weed Program or its designees right of entry onto the property to control noxious weeds based on affidavit of County Weed Supervisor, Noxious Weed Resolution 3/2021, 1/2021, 2/2021, and 4/2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from this vote for now, just
Okay.
because I want more information.
Very good. Will you
That's not
please
a-
send commissioners
Yep,
that
definitely.
information?
And just while I'm here, if anyone is on YouTube, Russian Knapweed, we're getting close to the time to treat it. There's 2 stages that are a good time to treat it. One is at the bud stage, one is late fall. So right when you're seeing those buds come up, right before it flowers, is a great time to treat it because it will be actively taking the herbicide to the root system. And that's what you want. A lot of times people will hit it in the spring and they might kill off the above ground vegetation, but more than likely they're not killing the root system. So just wait till it gets to the buds, and that's a great time. Any questions?
I think that you've stated this before, Bonnie, but you also give them the options, of treatment, what they can do on yourself,
Yep, definitely. It's pretty
Weed-
much just
weed
prevent it
program
from
stuff,
going to
yeah.
seed. Even though mowing is not really an approved method, a successful method, we'll still give them that. If they want to just mow it and prevent it from going to seed, that method, that's fine.
I think the
So-
biggest thing is that they have to have a plan
Yeah.
presented so that it can be monitored and move forward. Like she said,
Right,
there's
I understand
probably
that.
60% of the people then move forward and take
Exactly.
care of the issue.
And but I'll send you all that information, and then I can give you the statistics on the percentage of people that actually go ahead and do the plan after I send the certified letter. I'll
Okay.
give you all that information.
Okay.
Do you still do your matching funds for spray?
Definitely. So
Okay.
our cost share program will reimburse 50% of the cost of herbicide. So if you hire an applicator to do the work, we will not reimburse for labor. We will just reimburse for the cost of herbicide. If you purchase herbicide from IFA, Basin Co-op, we'll reimburse for 50% of that as well, including surfactants and dyes. We also reimburse for seed, so if you're trying to get ahead of the weeds or outcompete them, we will definitely reimburse for seed, 50% of the seed cost, up to $150.
And it makes sense to contact Ms. Loving if you get one of these notices rather than sticking your head in the sand.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't know what they have, and that's what we're trying to help. And we're doing a lot of good. If you go around the county, it's looking really good, and people are more cognizant of what's growing on their property, because a lot of it is very toxic to your animals and yourself. Myrtle spurge is growing in people's flower beds, and if they get in it, it'll start burning their skin. If it gets in their eyes, it'll make them blind. So it's really good that people are having more plant awareness. Okay, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Kill
you.
some weeds.
So do take a trip to the
Yes,
courthouse.
I will.
Okay, Rob. Road and Bridge. Come on up. Come on down. Good morning.
How are you guys?
Good, you?
Good.
Rob.
Okay, so I guess first thing this morning would be to go over June's work activities, to highlight the bigger ones. So first on the list is Road 10. We're getting ready to fire off on graveling that Road 10 out there at Pleasant View for about 5 miles. Get that going. That's under our DOLA grant. So we're out there today blading that and watering it, and hopefully start hauling tomorrow. Probably about 14 days worth of hauling out there on that. Right now, we'll probably just use our own trucks on this. We don't have any big urgency to have to hire outside trucks to help, so I think we'll just continue with our own equipment. Blade patch and repairs, we want to get some of that going this month if we can get in line at either the Four Corners plant or the one up at Hay Camp, whichever one's ready for us. We'd like to jump in and get some repairs done. And then the right-of-way and repair drainages, we've got an excavator on rent right now, a little mini-X we're working with on pulling some swamps up while we got water. We can see where our grades are at. It makes it a lot easier. We just pull that up and we do some mowing and different things. So we got that activity going this month. And then Four Corners Materials is on board to start paving somewhere around the 21st of June, which will be Road G, Road 29, and Road Nancy, as we've discussed so far. No changes on that point. I don't see any blade patching, chip sealing until probably sometime in July. We're talking to our oil distributor people. They're probably in Pueblo County at this time. We'll be there till then. Then they've got some work with Dolores County scheduled this year, so it'll kind of coincide with us and make it a little easier to schedule, I believe. So it could be mid-July to August before we start any chip seal this year. Most of the chip seal, though, is pretty easy. We got the Road 10 to do, and then we got this subdivision up here to do. And the rest of it's just one layer on some of the old existing chip seal to cover up and patch, repair, maintenance on. So pretty easy year on chip seal in the big picture. So that's the big issues that we're looking at in June. Of course, there's a lot of little things going on in between, but that's the big ones right there. So any questions? Okay. So I want to discuss this morning our logging business. I think I got some pictures up there. You're on the slide there, Jim. You should have some pictures there.
No, Rob, I was looking at those. Are those the same? That's the same stuff that we went and looked at early this spring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with him again to say why?
No,
Because it sounded like he was going to have.
I had a commissioner with me, and he didn't listen to you either, so.
Okay, well, because he said he was going to get up there within the next 2 weeks and get those fixed.
No.
Okay.
So
these are just.
these are not the logging trucks. This is the
No,
logging
this is the logging
company.
operation, the
Right.
company.
So these are pictures of our Hay Camp Road. We spent a lot of money on that road last year, graveling it, shaping it, crowning it. It's a good thing we did too, because we had no idea they was gonna start up there and start logging. So we had a good road for them to work on. The issue I have with them is the fact that they could care less. They just cross the road with dozers, they turn on it, they twist on it, they tear it up, and there's holes up there in that road. And I have no power to stop them without some conversation today. And we have means and ways. So we've done it with the oil companies, we do bonds, we do, Kinder Morgan, we had them do videos of the roads, and they would repair anything they damaged. There's different ways of doing it. So I think this morning, what I'm just here to discuss with you is a way to go ahead and proceed with a letter, a draft, to present to them, or to you, with an approval from our legal counsel to, we're gonna hit you with a bond. It's gonna cost you $50,000 bond or $100,000 bond, and if you don't fix it, we'll just turn it over to your insurance company. That's the way to handle it. And then if that don't get his attention, well then, I guess we'll go fix the road. But this is the guy that wiggled out of $50-some thousand impact fees
Well, and I don't think we need to go any further than talking, basically with John today. Rob did bring this to our attention. I want to say it was in March.
Yeah,
We
something like
went actually up there together, and then we went and talked to him. And basically, he has done nothing with this. So I think, why can we not move forward with the letter?
Oh, we can. Rob
Today?
and I have done something similar in the past, not very recently. So get something to me, Rob, and I'll tweet.
Yeah, we've got bonds in place with oil companies that have been very good to us over the years. And that it really gives them a reason to not let us do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want us dealing with their insurance. They don't like that at all. So they go fix them. The road isn't terrible, but this is a bad one here. You come around that corner about 40 miles an hour, you're gonna get in trouble with a smaller car or an SUV or something like that. And it's just blatant, don't care. This has been explained to them. It's a county road. It's not a Forest Service. We're on taxpayers' roads, least respected. And
So just for your information, Commissioners, Rob had reached out to him before. He brought this to a meeting. Rob and I then went up and talked to the gentleman after we inspected this. So we've already, this is, we're at strike 3 now. So we have to take a step farther. I mean, you try to do the nice thing and go reach out and say, hey, can you get this fixed? And this is what we get. Then we have to go. So I would just say, Rob, get with John and you guys move forward with it,
Okay.
because it's just, they're obviously not doing anything.
And then another thing I wanted to just get your thoughts on is they're up logging in Dolores County right now and coming off of Ormiston and coming down Road 16 into Montezuma County. And why are we allowing them to come into Montezuma County? They can go out Dolores County and hit 491, but they want to come through us. We should be able to manage that in a way that we could say, if you're in Dolores, you use Dolores roads. If you're in Montezuma, come on through. That's our roads. But we're paying the wear and tear on 16 for the trucking now in DD, and all they got to do is turn north a half a mile and go back out to 491 and stay in Dolores County all the way. So what's your thoughts on that?
Other than it's a public right of way that.
Well, I know what they're doing is they're taking the shortest route.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
that-
smooth, good,
because they're-
bachloride route, yeah.
how about we
Take
go?
such good care of your roads.
How about we go talk to
Fix that,
Dolores
too.
County?
What's that?
Have you reached out to their road and bridge superintendent and kind of?
No, because why would Steve not argue with me about that? He's like, wow, I like him going through Montezuma County. I don't have to fix Dolores County roads. It's just a thought. You're up there doing work in Dolores County, and they're going to come across the Dolores Norwood Road here later this year probably, and they're going to get back in Montezuma County whether we like it or not. But
Sure.
in times and places, why are they taking our route through our county? And it
It's
is,
shorter.
you're right, Joel, it is a public road, and it is built for trucks, and I'm okay with it, but I'm not getting anything to help fix it like Kinder Morgan did or the oil companies do.
Is that a conversation we should have with Derek?
Good? I don't know. I'm just asking. If they go Dolores County, they can go north quarter and back over to 491, and they're just about as fast, so.
So what are we using, more mag out there to keep that road
Yeah, that's our
better-
designated truck route.
in
through
better
there.
shape? Because what are we looking at? 4 miles, 5 miles? Once
What
they
is it-
come
what
into
is it?
Montezuma
From-
County?
From Bradfield Bridge Road to DD is about 3 miles, and then it's a mile to 491, so 4 miles.
4 miles.
Mhm.
It's a double-edged sword here.
It
I mean,
is.
We need that forest to be cleaned up. We need it,
They need to be professional about it, though.
sure, and I agree. So what do we do to educate them?
Well, I don't know, I put signs up, and the trucks were not using it. I went out and visited with their truck boss, and he made sure they'll start using it. So it's just this lack of give a crap, That's what we need fixed. And we fix that, it'll probably be better. So I think the bond is a big deal to fix the logging company, and then the trucking company. I've got a pretty good relationship with them guys, and I'll keep working with them on the trucks. And they're not tearing nothing up. They're doing all right. They're driving safe, and their loads are reasonably loaded at about 85,000. Everybody's doing real well, and there's no big deal on the trucks. So it's just a way to get somebody else's attention, like, okay, you're gonna treat us this way, we're gonna put you over here,
Because that's still kind of our designated route into Montezuma County, right?
Right.
If we look at that
Right.
map, it's going across 16.
Yeah, and I asked for that designation just to keep them on DD and 16 and not hither and yon.
Going all the way down to,
Right, to BB. That's what they were doing. They were going to BB and turning out, which is crazy.
right, because then they're right on the hill.
Yeah, then they went to CC into Pleasant View, which is hard on that little road, so we went and finally got them steered over to DD and back down 491. This is the way we want them to go, and it's working better, so. But they're pretty cooperative. The trucking company, I have no problem with them, so.
So what really is your ask?
If the loggers want to log in Dolores County, they should haul their logs through Dolores County. That's my ask, as simple as that. If you want to log in Montezuma County, come on, we'll welcome you. If you take care of the roads, we'll work with you, so. That's all, just something to think about. I got my answer on the other one first. Now, the other one was just something to think about, so.
The big thing is they're processing all of those logs in Montezuma County.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Well,
A lot of
most
those
them.
are still going to Montrose, right?
Well, they come to here first, get processed, and then go to
Before they
Montrose.
go?
Right. Right now, that's what they're doing. Everything's going to the plant up here right now, so. That and the local loggers and what they're doing with their timber and what they're doing, so. It's not the trucks, it's the logging company.
Correct, yeah,
Yeah.
two different
Yeah.
industries. Or they could be combined.
Mhm.
All right.
So,
Let-
anyway, think
let
about
us-
that.
Let us think about that.
Okay. So McCamel Slip, latest and greatest, it's better news. We're moving towards getting some resolvement, I think, on that. This little map I put up there real quick, John, or, yeah, there you go, thanks. So you can kind of see where I circled a circle around a real green spot right at the end of that dark line. There's a yellow, it's kind of hard to see in the map, but that's where we found another major water leak, which was about 200 feet past where we stopped the line. When you get digging into them willows and thickets deep enough, we found an old irrigation outlet that was leaking. I kind of mentioned that to you. And by all indications on the wells, the water was migrating back towards the slip, towards that TB1, which we saw a spike in it, of water already. So we went in there and we sealed off that leak, and we did a little bit of drainage work. The trailer down there to the left had cleared that area there for some property there to use, and it kind of disrupted the natural drainage. The orange mark on Road G is a culvert, so we've got the water moving back towards the culvert now. And this little chart that I attached with Jim this morning shows the results of that water now. Okay, Jim, go to this one now. So if you read down there on the bottom of 5/31, 1900 hours, which I think is what, like 8:30 or something like that, 8 o'clock? I don't know, 1900 hours.
1900, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Mike, he's with the Water Association down there, Thompson. He's really doing a good job of monitoring these wells. He's a geologist by trade, and so he takes a lot of interest in this anyway. So he checks them very periodically, and he's showing that we're holding steady by the hour rates from 5:21 through 5:29, pretty much the same, 12.14, 12.15 elevation on that first well, TB1. And then on the 31st, we'll see a significant drop, which is coinciding with us fixing that leak. So basically, the good news is if it continues on this trend, we're going to be able to do a design build abutment probably to fix Road G without having to do anything spectacular with drainages or anchors or soil anchors or expensive items like crib walls or sheet pile. We think we can do an abuttress with rocks and earth fill by getting this water under control. So I think our investment to move that water around us with pipes and different things is going to pay off here. So that's the good news on that one. So I wanted to give you an update on that. In the meantime, we're working towards getting our 404 permits ready to go with the Corps of Engineers and our erosion control plans. We will need to work down pretty close to the water to put this rock buttress in if that's what we decide to do. So that's a couple of months worth of work, footwork, getting all that in place. So I have SEH helping me with that, getting that done. And then I'm going to talk to Wimanooch about giving me some ideas or some pricing maybe to assist with this project, to get in there and help work on that as a tribal work together. But again, like I've mentioned before, it's going to come out of our pocket, so I'm going to try to keep it just as neat and tidy as I can. But we're going to try to keep it simple too, with a good company that's got the equipment and the manpower to do this kind of work. So and we'll work it that way, along with us right beside them, so.
You're probably looking at late summer?
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully.
I'd like to get started on it this summer. Yes, sir. I mean, irrigation season's been going now for about, what, a month maybe since
Yeah.
they turned that water on? So, give it another month, and if we see these wells doing what we want to do, I think we'll be a lot more comfortable than we were 30 days ago, yeah,
Sure.
with this idea. So we're moving forward with that idea anyway, through some engineering and some design on it, so we're not just out there kind of throwing money at things and hoping for the best, so. So any questions on that? Because that was pretty good news this month, so.
No, that is good news, and that was just that 250 feet you extended it.
Yeah,
fixed
that
little-
and that, well, that little turnout, we didn't extend the pipe. We actually just went in there and put a culvert in and sealed it off right through a 24-foot
Yep.
section where that outlet was at, and then went down with a mini-X and dug some little drainages to direct that water back towards the west and towards that crossing, because it was actually migrating towards TB1 at a pretty good clip, because all that sagebrush in there was dying and dead. So we were drowning the sagebrush through there, So, and that's how we kind of figured it out, was an arborist stopped and said, over here and over there, and wow, kind of lights come on,
Yeah.
So, you got a lot of good people down there that are taking an interest in this with observations and ideas, and that was a good one there, so.
Good.
Yep, so. Okay, we also last week finished the asphalt spraying the rejuvenation project. We got that all done and had bad weather. It took us an extra day and a half to do it, a few phone calls, and headaches.
We haven't any bad weather.
Well, we
It rained that Friday.
we actually I actually wanted to buy a load of oil for the guy just because he brought the rain, I said,
Yeah.
that's worth a load of oil just to get it to rain around here, so. So we delayed it on Friday one day, but they did complete it that Saturday and got out of there and out there and got that done. So the painter will be here tomorrow. He'll start painting tomorrow. That's our 2-week window of let it cure out and make the paint stick better. Also, we're lucky to get a painter this year. There's a severe shortage on paint. So if we wanted to get a painter, we're lucky. We got lucky. I don't know if we'll be able to paint the asphalt this fall or in June or July. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Nobody's got paint. Go figure.
It's all coming from Texas.
Who knows? There's a lot of reasons, but there's no paint. So, in fact, we got one bid this year because they're the only ones that had paint. So, but you can tell you right now what the paint prices are doing. So, here we go. So anyway, that's going to happen this week. And the road 491, we got some compliments on our road in left turn lanes. So.
Looks real good, Rob. I went
Yeah.
out there and looked at that. I mean, thank you for working with Kent.
Well,
And
CDOT, they're the lead. I mean, we just did some grinding for them. I thought they were very, very good at what they did. I enjoyed the few days I worked with them. We do need to go back to Road P next week. We've got that scheduled to do some more grinding that they didn't miscalculated on their paint lines.
Yeah.
But we know how to do it now. It won't take very long a day, and then they'll patch it and it's all done. But
I see some orange marks in the rumble strips.
yeah, those all the way down southbound through P are gonna have to
Yeah.
come out of there, yeah. So somehow they got inadvertently missed between the engineering and paint crews and all that, but we'll get it next week. So, grinder will be available Monday and Tuesday, and we're gonna try and get that started Monday morning. and get going.
It is much better, even though those rumble strips are in the center of your vehicle. You
Yeah.
turn onto them and they're,
Just right at the end of it.
Yeah,
the
so
time you
it's-
There's that one, yeah,
It's-
yeah, northbound for sure.
it's way better even as it is right now.
Well, we made a big difference there. I mean, I'm happy to say I was a part of it because that was a good thing to do, but CDOT needs a big pat on the back for that idea and made it work, and they did it. Wonderful crew to work with, just super guys. So it was a pleasure to help them. So I'm glad we got it done. So good.
Great. No, it looks good. Thank you. Your guys, CDOT,
Yeah.
everybody. I did email Julie, actually on a couple of other issues, but
Yeah. Well, it paid off. I've had a lot of people say, "Wow, what difference that makes." It just makes you comfortable to make a left turn now. you know?
Yeah.
So
not feeling like you're gonna get
ran
hit at
over.
65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Not gonna be a pinball out there on the road.
No doubt. Yeah. So other than that, I'm done. So.
I'm not done then. I have a question for you. So our last meeting, we had a request in here, and then I had a conversation with you. It was in regards to the BLM and a gravel request. Obviously, he was requesting 168 tons for the parking lot out there off of County Road N, which we haven't cut that road in yet. However, I did have a conversation with Rob, and in the past, the commission has typically donated the gravel, not the transportation or anything else like that, but the gravel has been donated. Is that correct?
That's been pretty much what we've been doing. Yeah.
So, he also had requested, looking at my notes, for another parking lot off of 39 Road, but he really didn't give an estimation of quantities, and I don't even know where that one is at. Do you know where could possibly be at?
Trying to think, 39.
I don't know. That's what he stated, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
It wasn't Connie. It was. I forget his name.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter. I guess we could deal with the request, basically, and we did state that we would give them an answer by June 1st at this meeting. It's on our unfinished business. So while you are here, we have 2 new commissioners that have never done this. The only one that I have done is the parking lot that we did down on Sand Canyon off of County Road G. We put that, basically, we widened a parking lot down there for, I don't know, 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 feet.
No, it wasn't that long, but about 400 feet. But we did it because it was in our right of way.
Yeah, that was ours.
We built that one in our right of way on that one.
But we did everything there, as all they're doing is asking for the gravel.
So yeah, what we're talking about is there was a request for 2 parking lots to be built for the bicycle club, or not the bicycle club, but for the BLM up here on Road 32 and 31, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And so BLM built the parking lots, and they did a nice job. They do their own federal standards and their kiosk and their restrooms and all that. That's all their stuff. So the board then voted to supply the gravel for it. They hauled it themselves. I don't even think we even loaded it. We might have. I don't remember for sure. But we supplied the gravel out of Hay Camp, is where we came out of for that particular 2 jobs. And we also provided some culverts to put in the access points to help them out. So that was the commissioner's choice at that time to participate in some nice parking lots. They came out really well. And then, was there another one or 2? The one down McCalmo, they took care of their own at Sand Canyon, the old original parking lot. They built their own there, and then we built ours up there at the curve, and that fixed that for horse trailers and stock trailers and different things to park in there. And that was in our right of way, so we built all that. So we've kind of worked with them through the system like that. There's another idea of putting one down Weber Canyon someday. I'm sure they'd probably ask us to participate in again, I'm guessing. And so this is not out of the ordinary to participate like this. So, and a part of this deal on 35.6 is the road is Nancy Inn Road. That's in our right of way again. So I've already instructed Junial to take care of that as soon as we know our stop points and go points and get the fence and the gate resolved. It's there with the private landowners. We'll go ahead and punch that in here in the next day or 2 or this week if I can, and then wait for BLM to come to us on what they want. So.
Which I saw that email, which is kind of in the same area, which actually leads to this parking lot. So I think James will be, working with James to reach out to that
He
landowner.
was going to reach out to Kevin and see what the story was on the gate and the fence and see what we got to do there, if anything. And then I'm not quite sure where the BLM wants to put the parking lot either. I haven't been told to go out and look at a flag or anything else, so I'm not quite sure how far up they even want to go. So.
And I think James has that information with you from where we walked out there the day when we actually met with everybody, the BLM, the CPW. They kind of have a designated area of where they want that to go. And I think it was, I don't even want to guess, but 400 or 500 feet to the west.
And the road, there is an old road there. There's a similar, or a shadow of a 3-inch minus type road. Probably was used to put the pipeline in. I'm guessing it may have been improved enough to get trucks up in there or staging area or something. I'm just guessing. But all we really got to do is just clean it up and put a little bit of 3/4 on it. So the county side of this, for just a little simple road to a parking lot, it's not going to be very bad. It's going to be pretty quick and easy.
So two different items. I guess basically I'm going to move it back to, gentlemen, to answer the BLM's question. Do you want to go ahead and participate in this parking lot at the end of?
If that's what we've been doing, I don't see a
Yeah, I
problem
don't see a
with
problem with this.
It's a community project, so.
We'll use Mancus gravel. That saves paying the royalties on it. We'll just take it out from Mancus pit, which makes a good parking lot too. It's nice and tight. It's good material for that. So.
Okay, well then, do you want to move that forward?
Yeah, so move we grant the request for gravel at parking lot at the west end of County Road Nancy.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to grant the 168 tons requested by the BLM for the parking lot out at the west end of County Road N. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was that 168 ton for the parking lot or the road and the parking lot? I don't remember how that was written. Do you remember?
He asked for 168 tons. I'm pretty sure I
Just
could go
for the-
back and
just
review
for
it
the
for that
parking lot.
parking lot.
All right.
Because I did specifically ask him, what are you requesting? And I
And then
wanna
that
say-
other one, we'll have to.
The
get
other
more
one,
information on it
yeah,
and
we'll have to
see.
get more information,
Yeah, I
but,
don't
I
know
don't even
one
know
at
what
39.
where it's at. Summer
I
Ridge or
can't-
somewhere, but.
yeah,
I don't know.
but at least, I'll make sure James is in the back. He can reach out to Connie, and then they can just coordinate that with you. And then obviously
Yeah,
they'll have to haul
they
it.
just, they did a good job on their own. They hired a contractor and they hauled it and spread it and did their thing in their own federal guideline type parking area. And we just kind of volunteered the gravel to them, so, out of the pit, FOB our pit, so. That was a pretty good deal, I thought. Worked out real well. Very popular parking lots now.
And this one is mostly for equestrian and hiking.
Yeah.
On this side, everything, keep the bikes and everybody to the south and kind of separate them
Oh,
all.
I know what I was gonna tell you. We volunteered to the, we volunteered gravel to the Fields World parking lot too. It was Wiminuche that did the work, but we just supplied the gravel for that one. That was the other one we worked with them on, so. People come in and request us some gravel, and that's what we did.
Okay. Anything else for Rob?
Good, thank you.
I am gonna request that you, do another video pretty quick about water on the roads. I know that you
Yeah.
had requested that.
Vicky said that too, and I don't know about that one.
Okay.
That's kind of a weird one with the legal system, so.
All right.
That's not asking them to get snow off the road or quit plowing driveways. It's asking them to get the sheriff involved and the judges involved and a lot of other people, so.
Just quit watering the roads, please.
If you want road end paved, you better stop watering it. That's basically what you're saying. This getting
That's a
better.
good way to put it. You know,
Yeah.
we can't pave till you quit watering.
Oh, I've already told 3 of them out there this year, you guys are about to blow your chance of getting pavement here one more time, and that's it, I'm going to road P. Water was off the road the next day, so.
Call their neighbors and tell them.
Yeah,
That's why
that word of mouth is moving pretty quick, Mr. Commissioner,
We have
so.
good water.
That it? Good.
Roads
All
are
right.
looking good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rob.
They are. I'm very happy with this year with what we've decided to do. I think that spray-on material, it's hard to tell right now, but it sure indicates that it's probably worth it with that latex in it and that sand. It seems to be doing what it says it'll do. So I'm very, very pleased to see that right now. So hopefully we found a way to do a 3-year maintenance extension on asphalt and just keep that cycle going every year. So, and a good company to work with. They were very professional. I enjoyed every day of it. So, well, parts of it.
Say, wait a minute.
There was a rough hour or two there. Well, you know, that was the craziest thing.
emails over.
I don't think there was any place in Colorado that was busier than the Four Corners right down here that week, you know?
Yeah.
Between the paving on CDOT and the 145 repair and us, and I just think people said, where do we drive this week, you know?
Yeah.
So, it was tough. Oh, and grinding out there, remember we was doing all that grinding? So we had them trapped right in town, and they wanted out. So,
It's calmed down
yeah.
the last couple of days, which is good.
3-day holidays, that always does good, yeah. So. Okay,
Anyway,
thanks.
things are looking good. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything in the minutes about that other gravel request, but in my written notes, I had something about a new trail on Road 39. And he designated it as a new trail.
But
So I
he
didn't
didn't,
know if that would remind anybody.
he didn't give us a quantity or anything,
I
so
didn't really.
it'll have to come up at that point in time. But was I correct on my
You were.
tonnage?
Yep, you were.
All right. We're gonna take a 2-minute recess. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it gets to the point where those just don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I need to get with you and give you the password for the rodeo.
For the what?
For the rodeo, when the rodeo comes in, because they're gonna
Okay.
stream that.
Oh, yes.
They wanna stream it to Cowboy TV
Mhm.
and we
Or,
have a special password for that.
Okay. I guess you fixed your issue out there the other day?
I apologize, Joel, my stomach's talking to me.
Yeah, bad POE.
Kind of loud.
Oh, good.
Going out there today to replace the one in the beef barn that we took to fix the one in the rodeo.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul, huh?
They sure appreciated it for the 12 hours of Mesa Verde though, because they called me.
Did they?
They
Good.
said that was so much better.
So much better, yep. Good.
Car races canceled due to rain.
Yeah, big old storm we got.
Yeah. What kind of concert you having?
He's the guy right there.
That would be me.
Oh, okay.
You gonna have a
Actually,
couple other?
I have two bands lined up. Vanishing Breed's gonna play at 4, I think. I'll have to look at my notes. And then we're gonna play at 7, I think.
You gonna run both days still?
As far as I know, he wanted us to play at the car races on the 2nd.
Okay.
Still kind of waiting for him to get back to me and actually tell me he's gonna pay me.
You get paid?
Well, I didn't last year, but I cannot.
Well, you set a precedence
I
now.
can't, I can't in good conscience ask the rest of my band to go play at the car races for free. Either pay us or we want them to play. That's kind of how it has to work out.
Yeah.
So you're insinuating you have a good conscience?
Don't tell my wife.
Okay, Justin.
Okay. Fairgrounds attendance to date so far is 21,335 people. Our income out there, $49,359.99. This last month of May, we had the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde run again this year. And I didn't catch to see how well you guys did, but you do pretty good.
We were the worst pace scenario.
I did real well.
I did pretty good too.
We finished it, no injuries, a few little minor scrapes and cuts, but other than that, we did very well.
Nice, nice. Then on May 15th was the tax sale from the Ag Expo. Also that same day, we had a True Western Junior Rodeo in the outdoor arena. Both those went good. May 20th, they had the Operation Graduation, which was the Dolores High School. May 21st and 22nd, we were supposed to have car races. He did cancel those due to the rain. And then it seemed like the next day it didn't even rain, so. May 22nd was also the Lewis Areola Hoedown. And then this last weekend we had a barrel race run out there. Coming up this month, this Friday, June 4th, the Goal is going to have their graduation, which is a little, I believe it's like kind of a private school here in town. Or I don't know if it's quite private, but it's not really the high school or anything like that. And then June 4th and 5th, we are going to have another set of car races this month. Commodity giveaways on June 5th. And then we get into our big Ute Mountain Roundup Rodeo this year, the PRCA. That's going to run June 10th to 12th. They are planning on running the carnival with it, which is going to go the 9th to the 13th this year. And then they're going to have Tanner S. Ray in concert in the indoor arena as their plan for Saturday, June the 12th.
I don't think they've ever run a concert before during their rodeo, so that's something new. They do normally always have the carnival at the same time. June 19th is the True Western Roundup Rodeo. June 26th, we're looking at an Ag Expo Ranch Rodeo out there. July 3rd is a commodity giveaway. And then July 2nd and 3rd, we're looking at a 3-deal event with the car races, a concert, which Jim's going to be in, and a rodeo. So that's going to be a 2-day deal, Friday and Saturday. So, and I think they're still working on their logistics on how that's going to play out. But
So the band members of this concert, they're gonna race cars and do the rodeo also?
At the same time?
that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I'd pay to see that.
You saying on the road again?
Yeah.
Actually, I can give you a little insight onto what's happening for that day. So I had a meeting with Pam from True West and with Gene. We all got together, and the decision is that they're gonna charge $45 for all 3 events, or $15 for each event. And the idea behind all this is that we get people attracted maybe to go to car races that have never seen a rodeo. Maybe they'll go to the rodeo and find that interesting, or vice versa. And the music's just kind of an in-between thing. So I think it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna give somebody something to do for the July 4th weekend. So we'll see what happens. It's kind of a new thing. We're just building off what I did last year. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see at least double the people of last year.
Oh, at least. We'd like to see 1,000.
I think now, specifically today, with everything lifted, that I think you're gonna see a lot more people
Yeah.
being a lot
People are looking for things to do.
happier and getting outside and doing a lot more stuff.
Yeah, and I'm tending to see that with the events that are wanting to run. I mean, we're already pretty much booked about every weekend through the rest of this year, but, you know, people are wanting to run stuff now, so. With that being said, that's all I kind of got for events. We did get that racetrack road out there re-gravelled here a couple weeks ago, and I'm planning on trying to budget in to do some mag chloride on it next year. But hopefully this will keep our dust down on that road from here on out, so we can help with a little bit of water control there. And then other than that, that's all I got for you this time. So if you guys got any questions for me?
Question?
No.
Justin, I am going to get with you before our next BOCC meeting, just to basically finalize. I want us to dot the i's, cross the t's on the racetrack potential contract that that we did. I think I did it a few weeks ago, but just want to make sure that you're okay with everything in there, that you think it makes sense, and that I haven't missed anything. And then we'll just kind of have a draft contract sitting around waiting, and we might have to tweak it later if terms and conditions change, but ready to, at least close to being ready to be executed.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Send it over and I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
And discuss it, so. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, we're going to unfinished business, which, as Mr. Spratland stated, our home for the county intervention program will be having a workshop on that. We had stated we'd make a decision the 1st, but we don't have near enough information, and I think that Commissioner Lindsay had asked if the hospital was going to participate, and there are a lot of discussions that need to be held before we make those types of decisions. The BLM gravel request for the parking lot was approved just earlier with the road and bridge superintendent. In attendance, the next on our agenda is going to be the follow-up on the rock yard. He had stated the last, well, it was an email a long time ago, but he wanted to have at least until July, I think he said, or to touch base with him in June to see how he was doing. And I just kind of wanted to see what, if you guys have been down there, what your thoughts were. Any phone calls, emails.
A lot of movement down there.
He's gotten a lot of movement done. So I think it's definitely being cleaned up and being dealt with appropriately. And I think he is going to make his I think he will make his July date. Anything else? Have you heard anything, John, as far as
I
legal?
haven't.
I have not.
One neighbor down there said he appreciated us, what we were doing, and they're, like you said, cleaning it up real good, but he says there's creating another spot down the road.
Well,
And that's all the phone calls that I've gotten.
I'm sure
It's just
where it
moved from one
leads, it's
spot
gonna
to
move.
another one.
You had asked Commissioner, earlier, Stevenson, about the issue down on Road 21. I got a text here from the Health Department that says they will be doing an inspection today, actually at 10 a.m. So they'll keep us posted, and we'll keep you posted on how that one turns out on County Road 21. And that's all I have on our unfinished business, gentlemen, unless you have anything else.
No.
Okay. Well then, Mr. Baxter, we will go to reports.
I don't have a whole lot to report. Our PAX case, the dismissal order for the primary claims was signed. It was a stipulated dismissal order, so we agreed to it. So the judge signed it last week. They have about a month and a half now to give us notice whether or not they're going to appeal it. Hopefully they don't. If they do, then we'll deal with it. So we're just in a waiting pattern right now to see whether or not they file that notice of appeal. They agreed to the dismissal just based on the lower courts, Judge Plu's findings, which basically gave them no avenue to win. We're waiting still on the BAA case that we had for the shed that predated two of you commissioners, and we had that hearing already. My guess is we're going to get a result any day from the BAA. We denied their request basically to count it as residential. It's a shed without plumbing or electricity or anything of that sort, a very small shed. I think that's it. That's all I have.
Do you want to talk about MVI? Was that
the
email?
Supreme Court? Yes. I mean, I think I emailed you guys that a couple weeks ago. We might not have had a meeting after that. So right now, the Supreme Court declined to hear our case, our argument. We had asked for that, which means that the lower court's ruling stands, which means that maintenance means replace culverts right now until or unless the law is changed. I think the law should be changed. That's kind of a CCI, kind of commissioners, road departments rallying cry. But as it is right now, the Supreme Court wouldn't even hear the argument. So.
Okay.
That was, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't recall exactly when that was.
Time frame's about right.
Yeah, we hadn't had a meeting, and I did read the emails, though.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Dietrich.
He was here.
left.
You want me to go get it?
Yeah, if you go grab him, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into Commissioner's report. Who wants to go first?
I can.
Okay, Commissioner Stevenson.
This last week I attended the Mancus board meeting. They didn't make any big decisions, just kind of internal work over there. They were doing some discussions on the dispatch center and stuff, where an agreement that they was trying to get into, and I'd like to have Shak talk with Heather a little more on what they're doing there, because they're concerned about their charges and stuff over there too. So, but it looks like they're entering a different agreement than everyone else is. But that's why I wanted Shak to maybe talk with her and kind of see what it was, because I didn't really understand a lot of it.
Because the IGA that was proposed had Mancus in it also, correct?
It did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a little
So I don't know, I just,
The IGA still be kicked around quite a bit, I think,
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
and then like the Rock Yard deal, I've had a lot of people calling and with concerns. There's one major spot where they think most of these people are moving just to another spot. So I need to turn that over to Dawn or the health department and have them look into that. There's 2 or 3 addresses that I've gotten, and I went and looked, and it does look like they're moving into those spots. I also went to the Lewis Areola Hoedown out there and participated in that, and got to talk to a lot of people, and went to the American Legion's 90th birthday party and drank a beer with a couple of the veterans over there and talked to some people, and lots of phone calls this last couple of weeks and stuff, and concerns over the 30 by 30 deal and the PAWS Act.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we need to probably really get into and see what we're gonna do there.
We actually have James coming in now, which, along with CCI, one of the meetings that I attended, there were a lot of conversations with the PAWS Act and a lot of resolutions that probably were already adopted. So with that, I'll go ahead and bring James forward and let you give your report, which is gonna tail right into
Okay.
what you were talking about.
Thank you.
Make sure you turn your mic on.
You might wanna display it.
Yeah.
Is it on?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so gentlemen, I think everybody got a copy of this. I sent this around last week. And so this is a resolution opposing the Protect Animals from Unnecessary Suffering and Exploitation, the PAWS ballot initiative. So, and I trust everybody's had a chance to review it?
Yes.
Okay. I did very little changes to this. This was all just sort of repackage it with Montezuma County's name on it.
Yeah, I think the title of this act is very misleading.
And that's what
Yeah,
they counted on.
I couldn't agree more.
Very
Yeah.
misleading.
They counted on that.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, certainly the intention is to get people to think that this is about something other than what it's really about, I think. It's to me, very deceptive, yes.
Right. It's deceptive. A number of years ago, I watched a TV program, and they set up a petition drive out in front of a grocery store to end women's suffrage. And everybody thought women were suffering, and they were going to end it. And the line was long to sign this petition until they finally figured out what it was truly about. And I urge everyone to educate themselves on this
Yes.
act.
We also did a Wednesday video talking about a ballot initiative in comparison to legislative process. That went out last week, and then we also did a statement, or I did a statement on the PAWS Act, number 16. So that was, I also did put those out there last week too.
Never seen
But you guys saw those, so.
I've noticed with all legislative bills that in the past, especially in Colorado, when we passed that one resolution that stated, how shall I put this? That you had to be upfront with, no didn't mean yes, yes didn't mean no, or vice versa, and all this kind of stuff that went into writing a piece of legislature. So all of a sudden, we've come up with deceptive titles.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the real issue here is this is not legislation.
No.
Yeah,
This is a ballot
initiative.
initiative, which takes only signatures on a petition to be verified
To get
by
it on the
the,
ballot.
correct, to get it on the ballot. And that is basically what we issued into with Proposition 114 of the wolves, reintroduction of wolves. So again, people, make sure that you understand any petition that you sign prior to signing it, and that you've actually read the text of what's there and you understand what is going on. So
Go past the headlines.
with that, I'll let you move this forward if you'd like to, Commissioner.
Yes. I move we sign, as the Board of County Commissioners, resolution opposing the protected animals from unnecessary suffering and exploitation, otherwise known as the PAWS ballot initiative. I'm going to spit it out here in just a minute.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign a resolution opposing the Protect Animals from Unnecessary Suffering and Exploitation PAWS ballot initiative. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Yeah,
if you don't mind, yeah.
I'll just let you number it.
I left it blank because I didn't know where we were at this point. Okay, we'll just, yeah, just email it to me later and we'll certainly.
Okay, there you have that.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Would you like the rest of my report at this time?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So to follow up on what we were talking about with County Road N earlier this morning with regards to the gravel, I have contacted or have attempted to contact Mr. Kevin Desplanks. I've left him 2 messages that were very detailed regarding the fence and the gate in particular, and noting that the road department will be doing work up there over the next couple of weeks. I've got no response whatsoever from Kevin on that. So at some point, I guess we'll have to do what we kind of normally do in these sort of situations. I just talked with Rob about it, and he says normally, well, we just open the gate and tie it back, and so that may be what we have to do. I guess there's an option we could send Mr. Desplanks a letter. However, I think if we're up there doing a lot of work, you know, time is of the essence, and you know, maybe we just open the gate.
Okay.
So there's that. I did want to let the commissioners know, I think the numbers that I recall hearing for the gravel was 158 tons for the parking lot there at Summit. And I believe I recall hearing that they were thinking it was somewhere similar for the parking lot that'll be off out there at the aqueduct area. So, but as I recall, they didn't quite have their engineering plans finalized to the point where they could give us a hard number on that. So I'll continue to work with BLM and make sure that we get a real number coming in off of that. I've talked to them about, for both those parking lots, they need to contact planning, go through the process of getting a driveway permit and getting an address for those parking areas. That we make sure that you know, Rob knows what's going on with it. He can assign the permit and check the culvert and all those kinds of things that we normally do. So. So anyway, we've got that going. Also wanted to let the commissioners know that I'm working on kind of an update to the natural resources plan. We don't have an official natural resources plan within the county. What we've got is Chapter 12 within the comprehensive land use plan. What I'm doing is repackaging all that so that it fits what we saw that came out of Garfield County. That's more of a natural resources plan. It doesn't mean we have to undo anything, and what I'm finding is most of the stuff that we have in Chapter 12 fits in it pretty nicely. However, there are some gaps, and so what I'll try to do is fill it in as best we've got, and then we'll start working on those gaps to round that plan out. We can adopt it into the comprehensive plan if we choose to. Otherwise, it can be a standalone plan. So, but we'll try to make it conform as best we can to the to what we've heard through the coordination seminar, and make sure that we've got everything addressed as best we can. So we've got that. Also working on trying to you know, get a cap on that community wildfire prevention plan. There's an update that we're supposed to be doing every 5 years. We've been working on that for a while, and that comes kind of in fits and starts. But as I have time, I'll try to keep working through that. So, and then I think the last thing I wanted to let the commissioners know, I am working with Trail of the Ancient Scenic Byway. They're working on an update for their corridor management plan. And because that's, you know, in Montezuma County, we want to make sure that we have local representation on that, to make sure that, you know, at least we have some involvement. I know they have some restrictions on things like billboard signs and things of that nature. So we just want to keep, you know, tabs on that and bring it to the commissioners' attention whenever, you know, we see anything that could potentially be a conflict in that. Hopefully there isn't. Hopefully that one's pretty smooth. So, but I'll continue to work with Toto on that, make sure we got something that's acceptable. So, other than that, I guess that concludes my report for the morning.
On the 30/30 issue, Jane, do you see anything in there that's beneficial to agriculture and farmers and ranchers in that deal?
I don't see anything that's more beneficial than what we've already got. In fact, it looks like to me there's going to be more restrictions. So
yeah.
I see nothing beneficial to
Because the research that I've done on it and stuff, and coming out of Bennett's office, that the main push behind this was to benefit ag and open space and stuff. And I see nothing, they can't explain to me where it's going to show more protections for that.
I sure don't see that either. I mean,
It shows to me that they want us to give up 30% of the water and stuff that we don't have.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think their angle on agriculture is the conservation easement. They're trying to sell that as a way to preserve agriculture. But to me, at the same time, I mean, one of the biggest targets of the 30 by 30 movement is grazing on federal lands.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just, I mean, you're trying to save agriculture while you're trying to kill it at the same time.
Which
so.
is another reason why we need to
And there's no
work on
science
this
behind it.
NCA
Yeah, none,
quicker
yeah,
than not.
in my opinion.
Yeah, no science whatsoever behind it.
Well, you know how the science thing goes too, Kent. You know, it's the dueling science. So it's whatever science kind of supports the position you want to use.
Right.
You know, and that's sort of the sort of situation we'll get in with this thing. And you know, I mean, sometimes the science is not as important as a little common sense. You know.
No, that died a long time ago.
So. Anyway, yeah, I still have a kind of a bad feel about the 30 by 30 movement. We'll continue to do some research. I'm trying to keep an open mind about it, but I'm not personally seeing a lot of benefits there.
And that's all the phone calls I've been getting over it. They're really pushing for a resolution on that to oppose it.
Okay.
From everyone that I've talked to about it.
I think looking at CCI's agenda, that'll be, was it pause and 30 by 30? Anyway, one of those are gonna be there that we'll be discussing next week. I think it was a Monday night or Tuesday that's on the agenda.
Okay. Well, we've still got time to do a resolution if we choose to do that.
That's right.
We'll just do more research until we can all come to a final consensus on what to do. But anyway, I stand ready for whatever we need to do.
Okay, thanks, James.
Very good.
Yeah.
Quick question, on your wildfire plan, a long time ago, we did a red zone project.
Right.
Has that been updated? Is it still in existence?
It is still in existence, and actually, we're still using that.
Okay.
And so there has been some updated work on that, and they're basically calling it the wildfire risk analysis now.
Okay.
And so it gets more complicated as time goes on. We're starting to realize, you know, that there's other things besides just the house that we're interested in trying to preserve. So it's looking at all the values at risk. The one thing I can tell you about it is the new information that's coming in. When I look at the new polygons that are being generated, they really match very well with that old red zone polygon stuff that we did, which was really pretty much just taking a crayon and going around some of the, you know, vegetation and stuff. However, which was good, and that really gave us the right foundation to start with. So what we're seeing is those areas are being popped out through this new level of analysis. In fact, they are taking in broader areas. 20 years ago when we were first working on this, or maybe it was closer to 30 by now, but time flies. But, you know, I mean, we would have given virtually zero chance of things moving through sagebrush, for example, to become the sort of a threat that we're seeing nowadays. So we're looking at it through a new lens and, trying to apply that new information, new knowledge to that risk analysis. That will be addressed through the update. So.
Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you, Jay. Okay, I'll go back to Commissioner Stevenson, if that kind of segued into what you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's pretty much it. I have decided I'm not gonna go to the CCI deal. I think it's pretty hypocritical of them to demand us wear a mask indoor and outdoor where there's no social distancing. And I also have a big funeral next Wednesday that I can't miss also, but I think that I'm over this mask deal and I'm not gonna cower to them to wear a mask up there when everybody says it's okay that you don't. We got 50% of the population vaccinated now. The other 50% has probably either had it and don't need vaccinated. And that's just where I stand on that deal.
Okay, Commissioner Lindsay.
Yeah, couldn't find the Zoom link for City of Cortez, so I went to YouTube and found the city's meeting. New city manager's in place. He seems to be jumping in with both feet and really going at it. So congratulations to him and the City of Cortez for new management. I did notice that they were, let's see if I can find it here in my stuff, but they are getting ready to approve a move of a marijuana sales facility and also attached a grow to it, and I think it's moving, Durango Organics is moving across the street.
Yes.
Into the old tie.
to the
Yes.
south.
Yeah, okay, and there's gonna be a grow facility there. I thought that was rather interesting to watch and see. They did some stop-loss employment insurance stuff and laid out some plans for the 4th of July in City Park. So that ought to be a good time in City Park on the 4th of July. And then they had some executive session, and that's when they lost me. And so that's about the size of that, but over the course of the last week or so, I spent time yesterday at the American Legion at their Memorial Day services and had quite a good time. Thanks to the American Legion and respect to all the veterans out there that have served us, and also to the city of Cortez, Mancos, Dolores, all those guys that put out flags. It was quite impressive to go through those municipalities and see all those flags. And even the Cortez Cemetery District, where I spent a lot of time yesterday visiting with folks about various things. And the cemetery looked surprisingly beautiful out there. A lot of work was put in by a lot of people out there, so thanks to them. And other than that, more phone calls, more messages about on the line with Joel with 30 by 30 and the PAWS Act and all that.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All right, I'll jump in all the legislative stuff. CCI, we had a forever meeting on Friday, last Friday, which we went over everything in justice, public safety, general government, taxation and finance, transportation, telecommunication, public lands. But one of the last and still the biggest is they're still talking about the RAR from the 26% to the 6.5% and to see where they're going to go with that. They have another week where they'll be dealing with that this week, and we have another legislative session on Friday for an update, but that'll be a short 2-hour meeting prior to getting ready to go to CCI. Dealt with a lot of phone calls over the tack oil. As Rob said, there were a couple days that were a little bit tougher than normal, but everything was taken care of and it went real well. Dealt with the Forest Service on some issues with some small fires up in the Boggy Draw area. I think everybody got those emails and saw those. Were all taken care of without any response needed from anything else. And really, other than thanks to all of our servicemen, all serving and have served, and a great Memorial Day weekend. And with that, I don't have anything else either. I would accept a
Motion to adjourn?
yes.
So moved.
Seconded.
So moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting, June 1st, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.